What's up? Welcome back to my channel. I am Diana, the creator of Money Boss Mama, and on this channel, I talk about saving money, paying off debt, investing, sticking to a budget, as well as shifting your money mindset. And today's down payment update video is going to be totally different because it finally happened, y'all. It finally happened. We all know what happens when we set a goal. Life happens, and I had a little minor setback. So without talking for too long, let's go ahead and get into what happened. All right, so my car, she's a little old. She's over 200,000 miles, and she's about to be 9 years because I got her like the day before my daughter was born. And needless to say, like when you have an old car, things are gonna start breaking down, and it's literally like when one thing breaks down, that doesn't break down by itself. Like one thing trickles over into another thing, and it's just like pretty much they're telling you that you need to replace every dang part in the car. And so that is what happened, y'all. That is what happened. Within 2 weeks, I had like 3 different car repairs, and I will say Mazdas are the she's because I've been in multiple wrecks. I've had this car for 9 years, and once again, she's over 200,000 miles, but nothing major has ever really happened. This had happened to me during my debt-free journey where one thing broke down, pretty much everything else broke down after that, needing to be replaced, and that was about 2 years ago, and I came out about $1,800. So it's been like little minor things that you would think eventually need to be replaced. And my sinking fund, I had about $500 in it. That $500 was not enough. So let's go into how much the repairs actually cost. And to be fair, I had to get brakes and rotors replaced as well as an oil change. So that's pretty much maintenance. That's not really an unexpected cost. But I went into the auto shop on July 31st this year. And that was the brakes, rotors, and my oil change. That came out to be $432.31. So that wipes out my sinking fund pretty much, but I was feeling okay. I was a little, because it was a little bit more than what I wanted to spend, but I felt like I felt pretty secure because I had the money set aside. Then my air went out, and I'll be fair, the air has not been really cold for about a couple of years. And I was, whenever something breaks down, it's like kind of like you don't even want to pay attention to it because you have a goal to reach. And I was that person like with that meme that says like when your car's making a sound, you just kind of turn up the music and act like you don't hear it. That's me. That was me for a while. And I probably should not have ignored the fact that my air was not really blowing cold. And so I needed a whole new compressor kit. Mind you, to actually diagnose the problem, it cost $95.04. So that was the second charge for them to tell me why the heck my air was blowing warm in 100-degree weather. And now I cannot play around with things like that. I cannot have my kids in 100-degree weather in a car with no air, especially if I have the money to cover it. So I had to stop being a little cheapy, being really stingy over my money, and was like, okay, well, how much is it going to be to get what I need replaced? And it came out to be, drum roll please, $1,739.24. This is not including the $95.04 that they charge for me to diagnose the problem. So all in all, I came out a total of $2,266.59 in less than 2 weeks apart. And at first, I was feeling a little bummed out about it because obviously this is going to set me back a little bit. But then I had to not sit in that thought. sit in that place for too long, because if you sit on something for too long, it becomes a mood, and it's just like you're poisoning yourself. And what's the point, right? That's the whole point of an emergency fund, to prepare you for unexpected costs. I could have done a lot better preparing myself for different things that would be needed on my car. I'm not a mechanic or anything. I don't really know what else to expect, but now I know that $400 in a sinking fund is probably not enough for someone like me who has a car with high mileage. But all in all, I am very blessed that I had the money to cover it. All right, so now, sis, what are we going to do to recover this $2,200? I had my emergency fund at $10,000 because that would put me at about 8 months worth of living expenses. And with something that I have going on, which I'll go into more detail about later once I have healed from it and I can actually speak about it, I will share with you kind of what I've been picking and pulling from my emergency fund for. But when I went in there to transfer the money over, it was about a little over $8,000. And I'm actually going to put up where I'm at right now with my emergency fund, just so you can see after these funds or balances have been taken out, what that leaves me with. And so now I am going to be pulling the $320 from each paycheck and putting it back into my emergency fund to get it back to $10,000. Now, initially I was like, if something happens, I am just going to keep going with my down payment fund, but I lied because I need that $10,000 to feel secure. I have kids, I have things I am trying to do, and I just don't feel confident going forward without that $10,000 to back me up. Once you have gotten out of debt, you will fight like hell to not go back into it. And so that's kind of like playing a role into why I feel the need to replenish my emergency fund. I am not going back to where I came from. I will fight to the death to make sure I don't go back to where I came from. So today's first $320 has been used to replenish my emergency fund, which puts me at this balance on the screen. And so from now on, I'm going to be doing emergency fund updates to get myself back up to $10,000. I also did a PTO sellback recently. I sold about 30 hours of PTO. As you guys know, I use this strategy to help me pay off debt. I hoarded PTO and then I would sell it back and then use the money I got back as a down payment, or not a down payment, wow, a payment on my debt. And so I'm anticipating to get back like $600-700 after taxes have been pulled out. And so I'm going to use that to help me replenish it a lot faster. My timeline is 2 months. I don't want to spend more than 2 months getting this $2,000 back in my emergency fund. And I'm also going to stop being so stingy with my business earnings and start pulling a little bit from my business account to help me get back up to $10,000 as well. All right, and now since I'm also updating you guys on my little setback, I wanted to talk about like what's gonna happen going forward after I do get my $10,000 back in my emergency fund. So one thing I talked about on my Instagram was the courage to pivot. I think that sometimes in life we just get so tied to our visions and so tied to our goals and our plans, and then when things don't work out, it does something to you because you made that part of your identity, right? And it takes a lot of courage and confidence to pivot. I feel like pivoting is associated with weakness, and that was something that I associated it with personally. I felt like I was giving up, but it's like you have the same destination, but there's multiple routes to the destination. And the way that I view pivoting is, if one road isn't working, you turn off and you try a different route, but you're still trying to get to the same place. My place is generational wealth. I'm still trying to get to that place, but I've also included like peace and balance and stability to that destination as well. And I talked about, I'm going to link it in the somewhere on the screen too, where I talked about I'm getting closer to 30 and I just want peace. I just want peace. I just want balance. I just want happiness. I've realized now that I'm about to leave my 20s. Life is an experience, and what is the point of it if you're not willing to have the experience? What's the point if you're not willing to allow yourself to experience life the way that you want to experience it? And I realized that other people had so much influence on my goals and what I wanted to do, and I felt like I had no balance because of that. But now I'm coming into myself. I proved to myself I can do whatever it is that I set my mind to, and that freed me up to now live life the way that I want to live it, the way that Diana wants to live it, and to be completely unapologetic about it. So I will get into further details about where I will be going after my $10,000 is put back in the emergency fund. But just know that I probably won't have another down payment fund update, at least for a while. I always take whatever it is that I'm trying to do straight to my life source, which is God. And that may be different for you or for someone else, but it's my life source, and I just wait for confirmation, and I don't want to move anymore without him confirming that it's okay. And I felt like with my down payment fund, I was out of balance, I was out of alignment, and it was just not making it exciting. It wasn't motivating. And if your goal isn't exciting and motivating, that's a telltale sign that it's just not something that lights you up, and it may not be something you even want to do. And so you have to really take a step back and analyze things to see, is this something that I want to do, or is this something that I feel like I need to do because other people say that I need to do it and I don't see another way. And that takes a lot of courage, and that takes a lot of confidence, and that's something that I had to be okay with. I had to be okay with knowing that I was afraid and that I had a lot of fear behind me in regards to pivoting, but I feel a lot more in line with where I think that I'm going to go after this. I just feel like I have more peace and more balance, and like I'm really just taking back control of my life, control of my finances, and I'm doing it my way, and it finally feels right. So just know that I'm super excited about what is to come for me and my kids. I'm super confident because I feel like my vision is now in line with the source of my life. It's going to turn out fine, even though I can't really see how the future is going to look. Like for all of us, we just don't know. But faith is to act without having facts in your hand that something is going to work out. So if you are someone that's working on a goal and it recently had to change, I hope that this helped you. Do it your way, do it on your own time. Make sure it's something that you actually want to do, and stand firm behind yourself. Stand 10 toes down behind yourself, and it will all work out, because if you have confidence in your ability to do this thing, you don't have to have, confirmation and validation from other people. But I am very excited to share with you guys what has been happening in Diana's world and where she's going after this. I am so excited for new beginnings, but just know that the word move has been put in my mind. Like, it has been put in my mind so many times, and I had to really journal for days, for weeks, for months to figure out, why is this word, why does it keep coming to me? What does this mean? I need clarity, and I've gotten that clarity, which is my confirmation. And so move. If you're stagnant, move. If you're unhappy, move. If something isn't working, move. And however move looks to you, whether it's physical, mental, whatever, just move, pivot, and have the courage and confidence to do so. But I will catch you guys in the next video.